say back, I mean not front. Talk into the not front of the microphone.
Give me my regular microphone back.
Yeah, you got to deal with mine. All right, man. It is almost dark out here.
It is 8:17.
People can feel it probably. Our energy level.
Our energy level is low.
So this is we're recording this on the full moon, which I have committed us to for a mostly arbitrary reason, and my
I despise
amazing.
You for it.
I was gonna say my amazing, long-suffering love of my life is down to podcast no matter what.
Oh, I am.
I mean, you're
He
here.
forced me out here.
Yeah. So this season we don't have guests that we're interviewing.
We also don't have topics. We are totally gonna wing it.
So this topic, the thing that came to mind that's kept coming to mind is this idea of getting back to our roots. So, what does that even mean for you at all? Well, what does that mean? Anything for you?
Back to our roots. That reminds me of back when we were smaller.
Okay.
We were extremely close with all 10 of our employees, and that's what I think of when you say back to our roots.
Where we can have a meeting and have the entire team in the same space.
Yeah.
Know everybody.
No juggling of moving things between stores. Just show up and show up and serve.
Well, what happened? What was the season of the shop before we even opened, though? That's sort of what's coming to mind for me when I think of back to our roots. What did we do for those 3 or 4 months before we actually opened in August of 2016?
Yeah, so we didn't have any money, couldn't get a loan, so we basically did a lot of the renovation ourselves. But here we are, fast forward, 9 years later.
What's wrong with us?
I know, 4 stores.
Why are we so tired? Because
3 different companies.
We don't stop.
And now we're trying to still manage a renovation while doing all these other things, and it's just
now let's remember back in 2016 we did have to hire a professional electrician, a plumber as well. Yeah, we had a plumber.
Yeah, ish. Don't know if he was licensed or not.
Don't check. When is the statute of limitations on hiring an unlicensed plumber run out?
Well, but we have learned. I didn't know what a general contractor was then, and now I'm very comfortable being my own general contractor. So whether that's overconfidence or not.
So how would you explain to the audience what a general contractor is at this point?
A general contractor is managing the whole project, but not necessarily doing all of the work. So they have the plans, they're doing all the invoicing, but they sub out electrical, plumbing, drywall, different things to different specialists.
Yeah. And so for this project, we do have would you call Nathan a general contractor?
Yeah, and I would say it's similar to our business and how it is now. When we first started, we had to do every little thing, just every single task, marketing, all the things that we weren't even that good at. And now we're almost like a general contractor because we have competent salaried employees that can handle some of the things that aren't our specialties.
So you're kind of going into an interesting direction, and I think I do want to go there. Let me just talk about a couple more things about the actual construction part of it. We do have somebody specializing in drywall and painting the ceiling for this project.
He's not specializing in speed.
I hope he's listening to this right now. You're a little butthole. Jessica has never met a
contractor that meets my expectations.
Nobody can work fast enough for Jessica. And you put a hammer in her hand and she's not much quicker.
What do you mean?
You think that everybody should go as fast as humanly possible, but you are not able to do it yourself. High expectations.
I'm not able to do it myself while doing everything else. True.
All right. So we put your projects on pause. You'd be able to knock things out faster.
Well, not if it took actual skill, but if it was just a hammer, I'd get it done.
Okay. Well, I do think it's interesting that we're still doing all of the painting of the drywall ourselves. I think your mother is literally even pitching in to do more painting right now as we record this.
No, she was coordinating with me what time to be there in the morning.
To paint though, like she still loves to paint.
I was thinking about that too, and for some reason I just cannot get myself to pay someone to paint.
It's interesting. I mean, even
it's
back
like
in the day,
there are other things that I have said, okay, I no longer have to do this, and like we hired Nate and it's been great, but for the painting, it's such a simple thing, and the quotes that you get for it are just outrageous, and it just does not match for me.
How many hours do you think we've spent painting so far?
On this project?
Yeah.
Total? Probably only like 15.
15 total hours of like individuals combined?
No,
15?
If we're combining everyone, we're probably at more like 25.
Okay. So 25 hours of painting, and we're maybe halfway done?
I would say we're less than halfway. If you think about all of the upstairs.
Okay, this is great. Okay, so one of the other things we did last week was a really cool exercise that maybe we can have a whole episode devoted to this branding consultant that we're working with right now. But they had us do an exercise, and there was a word that came up. It's basically showing us words and trying to see what we could maybe align on. Of course say. You know, because I'm obsessed with it. Okay, on the count of 3, you say it. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Savvy.
Savvy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it at the same time.
No, I wanted you to say it.
Okay.
I don't know why I did the countdown. But savvy was the word. And so when I think about this whole painting thing, like, are we being savvy or are we being stupid?
But so if you saw the estimate for $17,000, would you still feel like it was
Is that what it was, or did you just make that number up?
No, I remember at Newburgh, I got a quote for painting the outside, and it was $17,000.
We're not painting the outside, though. We're painting the inside.
Inside, it'll be just as
You
expensive.
think every paint quote is the same? What are you talking about?
The inside is even more than the outside there.
Okay, yes. If it was $17,000, yes, we would be being savvy by rolling up our sleeves and doing it ourselves.
Okay,
I guess I doubt.
Do you want me to retroactively get a paint quote?
Yes, I would. I'm curious as to. No, but I do think that is something that the reason that term resonated for me in that discussion of sort of what speaks to us about how we operate is. We've made some choices that over time have proven to be timely or prudent. I think we even did a dictionary search of what savvy means, and those are the kinds of descriptions of it. How would you describe savvy? You don't care about it as much as I do, but you didn't fight me tooth and nail on it either.
I fought a little bit, but eventually you were pretty passionate about it, so I let you have it. Savvy to me is like making wise or forward thinking choices that pay off later.
Long term?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not necessarily looking at just like right now.
And the word wise came up too, and we did sort of override it for savvy.
Yeah. So the project was kind of fun. It was kind of like marriage counseling. We were in separate rooms on a Zoom call with another married couple who were in business together, and they would put 2 words on the screen, and you had to just kind of say like which one are you drawn to, or which one do you feel like embodies the honeymoon brand. And I would say, for as much as we're opposites in a lot of ways, I feel like we were like probably 60%.
Yeah, I would say probably about 2/3.
The same words.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then there were a few that you were kind of extra passionate about, and a few that I was extra passionate about, and then
Was there 50 total words or 50 slides?
100 total words.
Yeah, so 50 slides with 2 words, so 100 words, and then we had to like for this branding project kind of narrow it down to 5.
Yeah, these are kind of the 5 pillars, of our brand that we recognize, and I think they even said that it can be a little bit aspirational. It's not necessarily sort of a warts and all, this is who we are.
This is us rolling up our sleeves and painting.
It can be, what we strive to be, or what we are, on our best days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like the language that we use to talk with our team, the way we, might encourage people, values for them to embody.
Yeah. So it was a helpful exercise, and I'm hopeful that it will lead us down a path where we're really happy with like where the brand is going. Because I think we're both like, we don't know if we want to grow anymore. This is a lot right now. Just kind of evaluating where we're at.
Well, and again, the evaluation is sort of back to our roots. Like there has been a season to where we will be in somewhat professional clothing to start the day, and then have a change of clothes to get into something a little more blue collar, dusty, painty.
I was like, I've been keeping clothes in the car.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that I start the day professionally either. But we did get back to our roots because you worked a Mother's Day shift with me yesterday.
Yeah.
What was that?
So one of the things that I have let lapse, or many of the things I've let lapse, are all of my skills in implementing our menu. And so we have evolved both our food and drink menu over the years, and even the drink menu is something that, changes every couple months. And so nobody really trusts me behind the bar, and they only sometimes trust me in the kitchen. But I will say one of the things that I enjoy doing.
They will say you're the best facilitator.
I do enjoy facilitating. So in our company, the facilitator is the person who greets the guests and takes their order and makes sure that the order is inputted into the point of sale accurately. So, different milk preferences, size preferences, modifications,
it's a lot,
where they're
right?
sitting. It's not just, it's not, I mean, I've done harder things in my life, but it's not easy. Let's just say that. And I do feel pride about doing it well, and I feel a little shame about making mistakes.
You made it through our busiest day at our new store.
Yeah, we discovered today that yesterday was the busiest day ever at that location since we opened it. And we were a little short-staffed.
Like a year and a half ago, I guess.
Yeah, it's been open for just about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And so bigger than Black Friday, bigger than Mother's Day last year. But it was also coincided with graduation day for both of the local universities. A lot of our employees are students there, and so it was all hands on deck, and that meant both of us. I loved it. Yeah.
It was like so busy that it was like very.
You got into a flow state.
It was like you said, like, how fast can I get everyone's orders out?
I said that.
How can I not make mistakes? Like, just staying on top of dishes, knowing that we were short staffed. It was like a bit of a competition.
I mean, it is always impressive how much you can hold in your brain and how much you can juggle at the same time. It was a lot of juggling. Like, you have insight into every single aspect of our business, other than maybe a couple of like maintenance things that you really understand how everything works, and you can execute our menu as fast as anybody. It's incredible.
Well, I don't know. I thought it was kind of fun to work a shift, and I learned some stuff. I was like, why is this here? Why do we not have this prepped? Like, can we change the organization of this to flow a little bit better?
So like if you were to be featured on that show Undercover Boss,
I've never seen it.
But you know the
concept is
the
you
gist
just
of it,
show
right?
up like at a random restaurant.
What? No. What?
I don't know.
You're thinking of like, I don't know, that Gordon Ramsay show or something.
Yeah. What's this one?
Okay, so Undercover Boss is where the CEO of an organization that's so large that you could put some
The
like
employees don't even know what
prosthetics
he
or
looks
makeup
like.
or a wig on
Yeah.
the CEO, and they come in and they start as a brand new frontline employee, and that CEO then gets sort of like the first-hand experience of what onboarding is like, what some of these frontline tasks are like. They even, you know, they may have,
I mean, it's probably a great exercise.
it's an awesome show. Yeah, and then they sort of move them around to a couple different people, and then at the end of the show, those people sit down with the CEO at the CEO's office. You know, the mask is off. It's like, oh my gosh, Scooter, you didn't tell me you were William H. McGinley.
Scooter.
I don't know. You know, they give him some sort of weird name, and so then they're like, you know what? It was really rough. I gained a lot of respect for how hard it is to have your job, and I'm going to send you on a trip to the Bahamas.
As they should.
And usually, but the fun thing is usually the CEOs really struggle at some of those tasks that a frontline employee has to do.
You were really struggling at 7 a.m. when we had a line out the door when we first walked in.
Absolutely.
You get so overwhelmed. It's hilarious. It makes me die laughing. I do. I think it's the funniest thing ever. That's probably why I was in a good mood.
Watching me struggle.
Yes.
You know what's funny? So for, I don't know, probably 10 or 11 years now, my LinkedIn title has been Chaos Pilot.
No,
and
you are not a chaos pilot.
Not at the coffee shop. Really,
no,
not.
You are in total panic
Chaos
mode.
Kamikaze. It's like crash and burn. It's terrible.
Like, I don't know how to make an acai bowl. I'm like, the instructions are right there.
But like, what if it says no peanut
like,
butter?
I'm too panicked. I can't read it. Oh man.
Yeah, it's kind of true
funny.
actually. No, it's like there's a certain level of chaos. Like if somebody was stealing from us, like an employee was stealing from us, I would just be so dialed in and focused and be able to handle all of it. I don't even want to guess at what other sorts of, high level calamities, could happen. But when it comes to the stress of the kitchen, I feel like I've always struggled with that. To talk about back to our roots, I struggled with that in the early days.
I don't think I knew that. I was just like blissfully working my full-time job and didn't know that you were such a
No. We would work together
strung.
on a Saturday. And I remember because it would like bring my heart joy to hear you laughing out front. I'm sitting there sweating bullets, trying to figure out how to toast this and spread that and cook this. And
why are you not supportive when I say let's make the menu simpler then?
Well, because customers keep ordering it and they want it.
You just have to.
We're gonna
you just have to do it.
We're gonna spin those plates, and that's what's important to me.
Well, hey, back to our roots. We worked a shift together. I was calm. You were super stressed. We got it done.
Now, I will say, once you got me behind the register and I just had to interact with people and take their orders,
I was
fine.
Please go take orders.
You
You're
get
not
somebody,
doing well.
you get somebody in their zone, and they can perform.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It does. I just have to, as we wrap up, I just have to wonder what our employees think like when they're working a shift with you.
They're like, this guy's an owner? What the F?
Core value.
Yeah. Well, and that's when I have to like be like, all right, do you need me to get into the crawl space or like clean a toilet or do
Lead
some
a
sort of
meeting,
dirty
like,
work?
You're great. We need you there. But not leading a shift.
Be like, oh, that's what he's here for. Not this. Oh, well, back to our roots. Jessica's great at everything. Zach's good at a couple things. And
he's redeeming me doing this podcast with him.
All right. Well, that's all I've got for Back to Our Roots. I am glad that you, again, are down to do whatever I ask because you love me, and at the end of the day, I know that's why you do it. So, thanks for humoring me and our dozens of podcast listeners. Love you. That's it for this episode of the Honeymoon Coffee Co. podcast. For all things honeymoon, including the new 1 subscription box for couples, visit honeymooncoffeeco.com. You can also find us on Facebook or Instagram. And of course, for more episodes of this podcast, search for Honeymoon Coffee wherever you get your podcasts. Cheers.